You're listening to Short History Shorts audio, where history speaks louder than images. Trade was the lifeblood of ancient Egypt's power and prosperity, and by the Middle Kingdom, Egypt's economic reach extended far beyond its desert borders. To the north and northeast lay the wealthy port cities of the Levant, Byblos, Ugarit, and other Canaanite hubs that pulsed with goods from across the Mediterranean. To the south and east stretched the mysterious land of Punt, sometimes called the God's Land, a semi-mythical region of incense trees, exotic animals, and black gold, frankincense and myrrh. These long-distance trade links didn't just enrich Egypt with foreign luxuries. They shaped its politics, economy, religion, and global image. In the Middle Kingdom, trade was a strategic instrument of statecraft, an engine of temple wealth, and a symbol of pharaonic legitimacy. Let's begin with the Levant. Egypt's connections with the Syro-Palestinian coast stretch back to the early dynastic period. But during the Middle Kingdom, especially under the 12th dynasty, these links deepened. The Lebanese city of Byblos became Egypt's critical gateway to the cedar forests of the Levant. Egypt had no native large trees, and cedar was essential for shipbuilding, tomb construction, and elite coffins. In return, Egypt exported gold, linen, papyrus, and grain. Archaeological finds show Egyptian scarabs and amulets appearing in Levantine cities, while Levantine pottery and timber flooded Egyptian ports. These were not merely economic exchanges, they were diplomatic ones. Pharaohs sent emissaries, gifts, and demands. The kings of Byblos styled themselves as equal partners, but Egyptian inscriptions suggest a more imperial tone, asserting dominance through trade. Yet Egypt's trade was not limited to timber. The Levant was also a source of wine, olive oil, luxury resins, lapis lazuli via inland routes, and Canaanite copper. Tomb scenes from the Middle Kingdom show images of Asiatics, foreigners from the Levant, bringing tribute or goods. Some were traders, some diplomats, others perhaps mercenaries or immigrants. Egypt was not isolated, it was an open nexus of culture and commerce. Forts in the eastern delta and near the Sinai, such as at Djaru, helped protect these trade corridors. The Wadi Tumilat, a natural route from the Nile to Canaan, became a strategic pathway for both armies and merchants. In effect, trade with the Levant was not just economic, it was a vital expression of Egypt's reach and security. But if the Levant was Egypt's window to the Mediterranean, Punt was its mysterious door to Africa. Often called the Land of the Gods, Punt lay somewhere to the southeast, possibly in modern Eritrea, Somalia, or coastal Sudan. The Egyptians never colonized Punt, they revered it. Expeditions to Punt were state-led ventures, often depicted as sacred missions. The Middle Kingdom kings, especially during the 12th dynasty, launched multiple voyages to this land, returning with extraordinary treasures. Among them were incense trees, frankincense and myrrh, which were replanted in temple gardens. These fragrant resins were not only valuable for trade, they were essential for Egyptian religious rituals, mummification, and temple offerings. To possess them was to commune with the divine. Punt also provided other exotica: ebony, ivory, gold dust, leopard skins, live monkeys, baboons, and perhaps even giraffes. These were gifts from the gods, proof of the pharaoh's ability to command distant lands and bring their riches to the temples of Thebes or Abydos. The voyages themselves were epic undertakings. Ships had to sail down the Red Sea coast, a treacherous journey requiring favorable winds, deep knowledge of navigation, and heavy state organization. The ports of departure, like those near modern-day Mersa Goasis, have revealed evidence of large wooden planks, cargo containers, and expedition records. These weren't mythical stories, they were real maritime missions pushed forward by a powerful bureaucracy. Trade with Punt also reinforced religious ideology. The pharaoh's ability to reach the divine land echoed ancient myths about the god's own voyages. Some texts describe gods like Hathor or Ra traveling to the east to commune with the spiritual realm. When pharaohs sent ships to Punt, they weren't just acquiring goods, they were retracing sacred paths, performing cosmic rites. This imbued trade with a mythological dimension. To rule Egypt meant to sustain Maat, the cosmic order, and part of that order was ensuring a constant flow of goods, incense, and divine materials. The broader implications of trade during the Middle Kingdom go beyond economic gain. Trade helped Egypt forge alliances, absorb cultural ideas, and showcase its supremacy. Temples were adorned with foreign treasures, tombs were stocked with imported luxuries, and even Egyptian language absorbed Semitic loanwords. Foreigners appeared in Egyptian art and religion, often ambiguously, as both exotic marvels and potential threats. But the dominant message was clear. Egypt stood at the center of a vast interconnected world, and its pharaohs controlled the flow of its riches. In a world without coins or banks, the wealth of the state lay in tangible assets: grain stores, cattle, gold, and foreign goods. Long-distance trade was thus a national priority. The scribes tracked every measure, the priests blessed every cargo, and the soldiers guarded every route. The economy thrived on these circuits. It fed temple building, military expansion, and administrative reform. Trade caravans brought not just items, but information, stories of distant lands, new ideas, strange rituals. Egypt was not isolated. It was a player in a vast, early globalization. And at the heart of this web stood the kings of the Middle Kingdom, Amenemhat, Senusret, and their successors, who saw trade not just as commerce but as kingship itself. By commanding the flow of goods from the Levant and Punt, they demonstrated their power, fulfilled religious duty, and stabilized their realm. Egypt's greatness wasn't forged by isolation. It was carved through connection, carried on cedar ships and incense-scented breezes from lands both near and far.